There you have it. Yan po ang everything that you need to know about our project, the National Sports Summit. And kagaya po ng ginawa natin sa ating first batch and the opening ceremonies of the summit. And for the benefit of our new participants joining us today, we will watch a video message from the present captain of the PSC ship. He's a sports educator, a coach, a history scholar, and a true sportsman. This man was relentless in his desires to get the project into fruition out of his belief on the positive contribution this will give to Philippine sports. Let us all watch this video and welcome PSC Chairman William Butch Ramirez.
Chairman of the Philippine Sports Commission, it is my honor to welcome our guest speakers and all the participants. Thank you for your supports, especially to our present President, Rodrigo Rua Duterte, Senator Bongo and all the senators, Congressman Servo Nieto and all the congressmen, governors and mayors, private sectors. Thank you so much for the support. Looking back, when we assumed office 2016, I brought Hidelin Diaz to Davao City to the President. And in the course of our conversation, he told me, Butch, wag mong kalimutan yung mga mahihirap, yung mga indigenous, yung mga bata na walang-wala. Find a way that will be able to steer the spirit of this destitute, impoverished community, to lift their spirit, to have fun, to feel life about sports, and inspire them to go to school. It is this spirit that we brought into this second sports summit after 1992 when the first summit was held in Baguio, bringing 800 delegates and form a 38-point board resolutions. Today, after 29 years, we will revisit the 38 board resolutions to guide us. And I have to thank many people again. I would like to thank, of course, the President, senators, congressmen, the governors, the mayors, the Department of Education, the Commission on Higher Education, the private schools, student and athletes, as well as the professional, our partners in the private sectors, our partners, the national sports associations, the Philippine Olympic Committee, especially my family, the Philippine Sports Commission, and of course my strong, very cooperative board. The National Sports Summit 2021 is a three-phase project which would help our present and future sports leaders to have a well-studied guide on the directions the sports community needs to take. We hope that from these discussions, we could forge a new resolutions that would build lasting partners among us. Our mission does not start and end in forming policies. The more important part is what we look forward to, which is how we act on the challenges that face us, the community, and how we implement measures that we think we should be done in spite of the dangerous COVID-19. Lastly, I encourage everyone to live out your purpose in sports and not reside on your preference, whether you are an athlete, a coach, a sports educator, a local government sports educator, or a stakeholders. Sports has always taught us to rise up to the challenges, dream bigger than us, to reach for goals which border on the impossible. Together we can do so many things, achieve much for sports and for our country. But before I'll end, I would like to thank TJ Rusanlich, our good friend, the president of the United States Sports Academy in Alabama, who've been very, very persistent of helping us. And TJ, thank you so much for your presence this morning. I would like to remember again your father, who first brought by President Marcos to set the University of Life here in Felsport. As chairman of the Philippine Sports Commission, it is my honor to welcome all the participants and speakers. Thank you for your relenting support of our sports program. Welcome to the National Sports Summits 2021. Ito para sa bayan, para sa mga bata. Sa darating na panahon, they will become leaders. My presence as public servant at the commission is not for us. It's for the children, for the backbone, who are the future of this country, and the hoping that they will imbue values, virtues that are necessary to build a strong country, a united Philippines. Good morning and thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Chairman William Butch Ramirez. And moving forward, today's festivities will not be possible if not for his heart for Philippine sports and his unrelenting support for our national athletes and coaches. Since the start of his administration, we have witnessed historic developments in the country's sports scene, and we expect many more to come. Let us turn our attention again on the screen as we welcome His Excellency President Rodrigo Roa Duterte for a video message.
My warmest greetings to the Philippine Sports Commission as it spearheads the National Sports Summit 2021. This online sports lecture forum is indeed timely as we turn to sports as a means to move forward and engender national unity, especially as we deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. Conducting this initiative through an online platform proves that sports can still be a tool in promoting excellence and instilling pride in the hearts of our people even as we prepare for the new normal. I urge all the participants to continue your worthwhile endeavors so that we may further empower our Filipinos, especially the youth, as you have a successful event. May you have a successful event.
Maraming salamat po again to our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and to our Chairman William Butch Ramirez. And also present here, kasama po natin ngayong hapon na to give his welcome message is the PSI National Training Director and the project head for the National Sports Summit 2021. Can we all welcome Mr. Mark Edward Velasco?
Good afternoon. Welcome to the National Sports Summit 2021 on behalf of the Chairman and the Board of Commissioners. We encourage you to enjoy and learn and contribute to this National Sports Summit. It's a three-phase program wherein we gather all the information and we synthesize them to a new resolution. Thank you so much for your participation. As we can see, we have more than 600 participants in this specific Sports Summit. Maraming salamat and welcome to the National Sports Summit, batch 2, 5th episode. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po at ating pong Project Director for the National Sports Summit, Sir Mark Velasco. Thank you po. And last but definitely not the least, and to deliver his inspirational message on behalf of the PSC board, can we all welcome PSC Commissioner Arnold Agustin.
Good afternoon to everyone, to our guests, participants, coaches, and athletes, as well as the PSA officials. We, the Board of Commissioners of the Philippine Sports Commission, headed by our good chairman William Ramirez, are very fortunate to open this second leg of our National Sports Summit with brighter days scheduled ahead of us fighting this pandemic. We all know that first batch of vaccines has arrived here in our country. And in the coming months, siguradong babalik na sa normal ang ating buhay at ang ating sports. With this, it is right and just that we make sure that we are equipped with knowledge and experience to further our expertise in the field of sports. And after this pandemic, we are to be expected to double our efforts in producing and developing more promising athletes that can bring glory and honor to our country. And how can we do that if we have not prepared ourselves? That is the questions to be answered by this summit. This event aims to develop you, our participants, so that when the time comes, that it is you who will hone skills of our athletes. You will be guided by actual and up-to-date information. So I challenge and encourage each and every one of you to use this event as a stepping stone to your careers as sports institutions, sports educators, and sports advocates. Listen, learn, and discover. After all, ginawa po ito ng Philippine Sports Commission para sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat.
Mhm. Maraming salamat po, PSA Commissioner Arnold Agustin. Thank you po for the inspirational message. And also again to our project director and the PSI National Training Director, Sir Mark Velasco. You know, today's session is one of the many lectures that we will be having for the first phase of the National Sports Summit. As said earlier, these sports conversations would be presided over by recognized figures from the local to the international sports scene to deliver short lectures in the online conference format. And afterwards, an open forum will be facilitated to gather insights and views as a synthesis for every session. And to help us on that matter, we ask the help of our moderator for this afternoon. She graduated BS Nutrition and Dietetics at Far Eastern University Nicanor Reyes Medical Foundation. She is also a registered nutritionist dietitian, and she has been a part of CIRADO trained doping control officer for DCO training course here in Manila as 2019. And she also served as a doping control officer for the 30th Southeast Asian Games hosted here. And currently, she is an administrative consultant for the Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization. Help me in welcoming our moderator for this lecture, Miss Aletea May B. Lakindanum. Hello, ma'am. Magandang hapon po.
Good afternoon po sa ating lahat, especially to our top sports official, Commissioner Arnold Agustin, and PSI National Training Director and Program Director of the Sports Summit, Mr. Mark Velasco, and to our guest speaker, of course, and the sports stakeholders and everyone who are attending here in this session. Thank you po for having me here, and it's a pleasure to be a moderator for today's session. So we are now in batch 2, session 5 of the PSC National Sports Summit 2021. So we're highlighting the anti-doping efforts in the Philippine sports. Our resource speaker will tackle about protecting the integrity of sport and moving closer to clean sport through the implementation of the 2021 World Anti-Doping Code and the compliance with the Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization. So introducing our speaker, he is a pioneer graduate and active medical consultant in the Department of Family Medicine, UST Hospital, Professor 2 in Faculty of Medicine and Surgery in University of Santo Tomas. He is also past president of UST Medical Alumni Association, a past national president of the Philippine Academy of Family Physicians, immediate past president in Osteoporosis Society of the Philippine Foundation, and he's also accredited in Primary Care Physician Exercise is Medicine EIM Singapore, head of the Doping Control Functional Area, FISCOP 2019 in the 30th Southeast Asian Games, Philippines, Director representing the Philippines for Southeast Asia Regional Anti-Doping Organization, CIRADO, since 2006, and our head of the Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization, FINADO. Let's all welcome Dr. Alejandro V. Pineda Jr. Hello, Doc. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, Alet.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
So again, maraming salamat, Philippine Sports Commission. Maraming salamat, our project director, Mr. Mark Edward Velasco. Maraming salamat, PCO. And Jem, Josh, I saw Commissioner Arnold, Commissioner Mon Fernandez, and the rest of our big guys in the commission and everyone in attendance this afternoon. So maraming salamat for this opportunity. I did not have any reservations accepting this invitation to talk on a topic dear to my heart, which is anti-doping. And in today's world, looking at the major title of this talk, which is protecting the integrity of sports and moving closer to clean sport. Of course, this afternoon, pag-uusapan natin ang doping in sport and anti-doping efforts. So hindi magkaluyo yan. So it has been a journey. So from the remote past to the recent past to current and future, we're excited. The reason why I did not have any reservations is the fact that 2021 is a very significant year for world sports. And the reason is meron tayong bagong Bible sa anti-doping efforts. And this is the World Anti-Doping Code 2021. Again, I will give you the reasons why nagkaroon ng revisions. Then again, para maunawaan natin ang anti-doping initiatives, efforts, programs, and several more, kailangan pag-usapan natin ang konsepto, ang prinsipyo, 101 sa doping, anti-doping. Doping is defined as the occurrence of one or more of the following anti-doping rule violations. So again, hindi lang siya paggamit. So makikita natin dito sa ating presentation, merong 10 bagay para magkaroon ng anti-doping rule violations. So as it is, from number 1 to number 2, use, refusing, failure, tampering, possession, trafficking, administering, complicity, prohibited association with a sanctioned athlete. So again, lumawak na ang ating definition based on the anti-doping rule violations. So hindi lang ito positive ang ihi, so which is analytical, positive ang blood, which again is analytical, positive ang alcohol sa breath, so alcohol breath test, but rather it's both analytical, yung sinasubmit sa accredited laboratory ng WADA, at non-analytical, from refusing to failure na mag-file ng whereabouts, tampering hanggang complicity. So lumawak na ang ating pangunawa sa mundo ng sports. So again, bakit natin kailangan labanan ang doping sa mundo ng sports? It goes against the rules of the game. Of course, kailangan ma-maintain natin ang ating personal integrity, ang ating right to protect, clean athletes, healthy and safe competition, ang ating society, at panatiliin ang spirit of sport. So again, nasa center stage ang World Anti-Doping Agency. Ang kanyang vision, a world where all athletes can compete in a doping-free sporting environment. Ang kanyang mission, lead a collaborative worldwide movement for doping-free sport. Ang values inculcated should be accountability of the athlete, of the coach, of the athlete support personnel, of the officials, and in fact lahat ng stakeholders in the setting of sports looking at the environment, excellence and integrity. Then again, moving forward, it has been a journey, sabi ko nga sa inyo. So 1998, after a crisis in cycling, alam natin, medyo notorious in the past ang Tour de France. Meron silang Tour de France winners that have been found to have violated. So na-strip ng titles, and hindi siya isa lang, kundi marami sila. Ganon rin sa athletics and several more. So in 1999, nagkaroon tayo ng first World Conference on Doping Sport. Dito napag-usapan na kailangan merong independent body to oversee ang anti-doping initiatives and efforts. So kanya na-establish ang World Anti-Doping Agency. In 2003, the World Anti-Doping Code and its international standards have been accepted at the second World Conference on Doping Sport in Copenhagen. So 2003 ito. So again, nagkaroon tayo ng anti-doping policies 1999, and then 2015, and ngayon may 2021. So the code and its international standards came into force 2004. So pumirma tayo dito, dalawang declaration. Una, Copenhagen Declaration supporting the creation of WADA and the drafting of the Global Convention in the elimination of doping in sport under UNESCO. So isang separate na declaration ang Convention on the Elimination of Doping in Sport. Ang responsible person dito, walang iba kundi yung nagbigay sa atin ng paunang salita, si Chairman William Ramirez. Maraming salamat, Chairman. Yung unang pagkakataon na ma-ratify ng Pilipinas ang convention ay sa pamamahala ni Chairman Ramirez. And thereafter, itong pag-create ng Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization is under the leadership of, again, si Chairman William Ramirez. So malaki ang aming gratitude kay Chairman dahil sa journey na ito. So UNESCO International Convention, pinirmahan natin, Copenhagen, pinirmahan ng Pilipinas. So 2009 and 2015, meron tayong policy na approve ng WADA, isineshare natin sa lahat ng stakeholders. Then again, in 2019, during the World Conference, it was found fit to revise yung ating 2015 World Anti-Doping Code. Kanya meron tayo ngayong 2021 World Anti-Doping Code, the newest, which took effect January 1 of 2021. Of course, mahabang pag-uusap yan, including yung ating 2020. This challenging and difficult trying year 2020 kasi dito na-approve ang World Anti-Doping Code 2021. So patuloy ang ating journey. So doon sa understanding ng buong mundo, 50% ang contribution ng governments. So sa ating bansa, Philippine Sports Commission ang lead agency. Sa sporting movements, of course, lahat ng recognized entities under the Olympic movement, IOC, federations, the Paralympic organization, federations, and several more. So 50% sporting movement and 50% government. So again, pumirma tayo sa Copenhagen Declaration, pumirma tayo sa International Convention Against Doping Sport. Dahil sa pagpirma natin, nakabind tayo sa provisions kung ano ang nakalagay sa World Anti-Doping Code. So, binavalue natin ang partnership ng lahat, both gobyerno at saka sporting movement relative to this common cause, which is the elimination of doping sport. I'm sure mag-agree kayo, it's quite a tall order, but then again, kung merong tulong-tulong, pagtutulong-tulong ng lahat ng mga tao sa buong mundo, including ang Philippines, time will come when really ang ating sporting environment will be clean. Again, babalikan ko yung aking sinabi na journey. Bakit journey from the remote past to current, na-enhance yung mga programa, yung mga rules na harmonized, nagkaroon ng capacity building, merong pag-aaral, social science research, of course, merong educational strategies, may requirement for accreditation, monitoring relative to laboratories, yung mga tools na ginagamit, including the kits. So, merong athletes, biological passport. So, hindi lang ihi ngayon ang ating testing, kundi meron rin tayong blood. And merong worldwide web, which is ADAMS, the Anti-Doping Administration Management System, para maging isang mundo tayo looking at digital. Then again, itong 2021 code, matindi ang pangangailangan ng Pilipinas, ng mga bansa, ng mga anti-doping organizations para mag-comply. Why? Beginning 2022, imo-monitor ang pag-implement ng code in terms of the policies, in terms of the protocols, in terms of the guidelines, at international standards. Then again, may patuloy na pag-uusap sa buong mundo in terms of intelligence and investigation in terms of doping. Pag sinabi natin doping, hindi lumalayo ang pag-uusap tungkol sa game fixing at saka match fixing, so and several more. Para ma-fast track, meron tayong whistleblower program. Kung sa Pilipinas, sa gobyerno, may whistleblower program. Dito sa mundo ng World Anti-Doping Initiatives, meron rin whistleblower program. So ano ang pagbabago sa code? Again, parati tayong nagfo-fulfill ng ating obligation na meron dapat ang bansa katulad ng Pilipinas recognized policies. So 2009, 2015, so pinag-aralan, nagkaroon ng amendments in terms of compliance. So nag-umpisang i-measure ang performance ng mga bansa, including the Philippines. Dalawang entity ang nagmamonitor ng compliance, isa World Anti-Doping Agency, ang pangalawa UNESCO. WADA, through the Code Compliance Questionnaire, so CCQ, meron mga kailangang gawin tayo, corrective action reports. UNESCO, kailangan, meron tayong reporting, AdLogic. So dalawang entity ang sineserve natin para masigurado natin na ang Pilipinas ay sumusunod sa alituntunan ng anti-doping. So why revise? Kailangan mag-adapt sa evolving environment. Alam natin yung Tour de France, alam natin ang Rusada na suspend, yung prelude doon sa Brazil Olympics na suspend ang Russian Anti-Doping Organization. Nagkaroon ng connivance ang agency with several more. So naimbestiga, nagkaroon ng penalty, lost accreditation, na ibalik, minomonitor ngayon. Kailangan i-fine-tune and yung principles na na-accept na hindi na kailangan i-reinvent ang wheels. So again, I would like to go and discuss yung mga technicalities sa inyong language. So kailangan mag-comply tayo, kailangan tayong mag-govern, but in the process, internationally, kailangan makipag-communicate tayo sa mga providers. So we are looking at this setting, kanya tinanggap ko ang invitation na ito. Ayaw natin ng ating atleta magkaroon ng pagkakataon na mag-compete internationally, ma-target, ma-test, at mag-positive saan banda. Yung contaminated products, inadvertent contamination, inadvertent doping, so ignorance or carelessness, so kailangan pag-usapan natin yan. And then yung mga violations. So again, yung journey hindi natatapos, but for this period, ito na ang mga international standards. So nauna ang prohibited list, annually yan. Meron tayong international standards on therapeutic exemption, meron tayong standards on laboratories, meron tayong standards on testing and investigations, meron pumasok ang meron tayong standards for the protection of privacy and personal information, kaakibat doon sa Data Privacy Act ng Pilipinas. Then again, kailangan i-monitor ang mga bansa, kanya pumasok in 2018 to 2019 to 2020 itong code compliance by signatories. Diyan tayo may-measure ang ating international standards on results management. So ano ang gagawin natin kung nag-positive ang sample A? So balik tayo sa, again, yung standards nakalatag na. So specifically, ang bago sa standards yung education. Why? Again, education is the cheapest template para ma-prevent ang doping in sports. So again, kailangan mag-invest raw ang mga bansa sa education more than testing, kasi ang testing napakamahal, no? So yung kit and several more, so medyo matindi ang pangangailangan in terms of budget. So every year meron tayong prohibited list. So again, i-access nyo ang www.wada-ama.org. So single list, revise every year, current, out of competition, in competition ito, at all times, at saka substances prohibited in particular sports. Nandito sa prohibited list, every January 1 lumalabas ito. So ang current ngayon is 2021. Again, para mailagay sa prohibited list ang isang substance or methodology, kailangan ma-meet yung criteria, potential to enhance performance. So nag-enhance ng performance, hindi siya physiologic, undue advantage, represents an actual or potential health risk doon sa gagamit, and violates the spirit of yung ating sports. So again, prohibited substances, so includes anabolic, androgenic steroids, so yung anabolic, yung pampalakas, growth hormones, beta-2 agonists, except those used para sa ating hika, hormones, diuretics, masking agents, so non-approved substances. By the way, itong mga nakalagay sa screen natin, lahat ito na-approve para sa kanilang use sa medicine. So merong gamit ito sa medisina, however, merong enterprising na mga atleta or guys in sports na discover nila pag gumamit sila nito, na-enhance ang kanilang performance. So again, looking at this particular presentation, so manipulation of blood and blood components, transfusion, 3 months before without justifiable reason, or rather, 3 months before inclusive, or even intravenous infusion para ma-rehydrate kagad. So again, meron tayong mga protocols dyan. Then again, if you look at stimulants, narcotics, cannabinoids, glucocorticoids in competition, so meron tayong at all times, so meron tayong in competition. So again, ito ang dapat maunawaan natin kung atleta tayo, kung coach, kung nag-handle tayo ng atleta na nagpa-participate internationally. So dapat conscious tayo kung ano ang ibinibigay sa ating atleta. Conscious yung atleta kung ano ang nare-receive niya. The reason is merong principle of liability na ipapakita natin mamaya. Then again, sa some sports, merong mga substances or drugs na prohibited. So itong beta blocker, ginagamit ito sa alta presyon. Pag ginamit ito sa archery, sa billiards, sa golf shooting, nakaka-stabilize ito para mag-focus tayo doon sa ating target or goal. So kapag kailangan, pwede naman. Then again, maunawa natin kung ano ang TUE, Therapeutic Use Exemption. So again, ating mga atleta, ating mga coaches, ating mga opisyales, anywhere, private, government, alamin natin, alam dapat natin na ang atleta will be the only one responsible for what goes into his or her system kapag nag-compete siya internationally. Why? Merong in-competition testing. If you participate in the SEA Games, if you participate in the Asian Games, if you participate in the Olympics, so lahat yan may in-competition blood test, urine test, and a mix-off. So tandaan natin yan. The athlete and only the athlete is responsible for what goes into his or her system. But sino naman ang may impluensya sa atleta? Yan ang pag-uusapan natin. Ayaw natin hindi ma-receive ng atleta the best medical treatment. Kung kailangan, yung kanyang treatment ay nandun sa prohibited list, pwede naman. So again, tandaan natin, lahat ng nakikinig dito, narinig nyo na ako na nag-participate na kayo sa conferences where I was a speaker, nasabi ko na, pwede naman basta ma-process ang kanyang TUE, Therapeutic Use Exemption. So, yung paggamit ng substance or methodology for a legitimate medical condition, minamanage ito ng International Federation kapag international athletes or yung PINADO sa ating bansa, the National Anti-Doping Organization, kung top-level athlete natin or local athletes natin nagko-compete in competitions, may requirement for this particular exposure. So, kailangan ma-fill up, mag-apply, makakuha ng exemption, therapeutic use exemption. So, importante yan. So, meron mga forms. So it's a process. So kailangan merong communication ang coach, ang atleta with the doctor. Dapat alam ng doktor na atleta ito. So dapat magpahiwatig yung ating atleta at ang ating coach na ang kanyang minaman pwedeng ma-target for doping control test. So again, TUE is effective upon receipt of the notification that it has been granted. Pero specific lang doon sa substance or methodology na nag-apply siya. So, specific dose, frequency, methodology, route, duration. So, pag naiba, pag lumihis, kailangan mag-apply siya ng panibagong TUE. Again, sa International Federation or sa ating PINADO, sa ating setting. Now, lahat ng ating specimen, hindi pwedeng i-test dito sa mga laboratories ng Pilipinas kahit meron silang quality assurance, ISO certification, and several more. Why? Merong World Anti-Doping Agency accredited laboratories. Medyo stricto ang standards ng accreditation ng laboratories. So in the past, nagpapadala tayo sa Penang, Malaysia, yung laboratory doon, nasuspend siya. Nagpapadala tayo ng ating specimen sa Mahidol University, Doping Control Center ng Mahidol University sa Bangkok, Thailand. Nasuspend rin siya. Nagpapadala tayo sa Chinada, sa China, sa Japan, sa Australia. So itong recent, nagpadala tayo sa Australia. So pipirma tayo ng kontrata sa Qatar, reasonably priced, including yung requirement para ma-in-sync tayo with the 2021 code. So again, it has to be a World Anti-Doping Agency accredited laboratory. So stricto ang standards. Then again, ang bawat bansa dapat merong registered testing pool. Ito yung ating high caliber elite athletes. So sila yung nagre-represent sa Pilipinas. If they have not been adopted by their specific international federations, pwede silang ma-adopt ng NADO para maging part of the testing pool. So makaka-receive sila ng information, notification. Ang environment na to, yung golpe de gulat. Any given time, pwede silang ma-test anywhere sa bahay, sa training, and several more. Provided magbibigay sila ng whereabouts information. So again, pag na-identify ka, kailangan tanggapin mo. And the reason is minomonitor ng WADA kung top caliber ka, either you belong to the International Federation, Registered Testing Pool, or doon sa National Anti-Doping Organization, Registered Testing Pool. So because merong pagkakataon na matest ang ating atleta anytime, anywhere, any given time, whether in competition or out of competition, golpe de gulat, so kailangan mag-whereabouts information. Importante, dapat quarterly na ibibigay yung kanyang whereabouts. So, and the reason is, allows doping control officers from WADA, from the service provider like International Testing Authority, Administration, para puntahan yung ating atleta dito sa Pilipinas. So dalawa yan. Pwedeng WADA ang pumunta sa atin or pwedeng i-outsource ng WADA sa PINADO itong out of competition test. So kailangan yung atleta na sa registered testing pool, ibigay niya yung kanyang usual location, dates and times, travel plans. So pag nag-change, kailangan ipahiwatig ka agad. Bakit? Pag nag-fail ka ng whereabouts, isang missed opportunity, merong 1 mark ka na, X. Pag tatlo, it's an anti-doping rule violation. So again, ayaw natin umabot sa 3 X. Ibig sabihin, hindi nakapag-update ng whereabouts. And the reason is, ito ang standards ngayon. So, madali ang mundo sa anti-doping, doping control test, results management, and everything kasi meron tayong ADAMS. The Anti-Doping Administration and Management System was developed primarily because ang World Anti-Doping Code, yung harmonizing Bible para sa anti-doping policies in all sports, in all countries. So may obligation na may continuous coordination. So again, lahat ng key people involved in anti-doping may access dito sa ADAMS. Then again, kapag ikaw ay nasa federation, local federation, yung local federation nakikipag-communicate sa International Federation para dito sa access sa ADAMS. ang PINADO nagbibigay ng access para sa kanyang program, sa kanyang staff, and several more. So makikita nyo mamaya. So again, it's all digital. We just simply log in yung information, napakadali na. So pumunta naman tayo sa mundo ng testing. So in and out of competition testing programs, mandatory for all code signatories, halos lahat ng federations, governing bodies in sports. So nakapirma dito sa World Anti-Doping Code. No? So again, merong sinusunod ang ating mundo in terms of yung smart testing. Hindi na ngayon random testing, kundi smart testing. Meron na tayong test distribution program na minomonitor ng WADA, ina-approve, and then meron tayong technical document, so specific analysis for sports disciplines. Meron tayong risk assessment, meron tayong information gathering, merong testing the right athlete at the right time for the right substance. So again, testing the right athlete at the right timing at the right. Okay, so again, smart testing na tayo ngayon. Ano ibig sabihin ng smart testing? So assessment of risk. So yung physical demands ng sports, the level of financial incentives, potential for use, yung mga sports na notorious, particularly in terms of having positive results in the past. So yung profile, competition calendar, so yung impact ng social media, so yung mga analysis ng ating mga NADOs at saka ng WADA, so nagko-compile ng data, may binibigay sa atin, history of doping within the sport, kung may whistleblower, kung merong targeted individuals ang International Federation, ipinapaalam sa atin yan. So, and then research. So, hindi na ngayon random testing, kundi smart testing. Assessment of risk, profiling, and doping trend history. So may proseso, yung doping control procedure. So kailangan above board, dapat technical, nang sa ganon, pag may positive results, hindi mapipin down doon sa doping control team ang blame na nagkaroon ng positive result dahil sa pabayaan ng ating team. So again, from number 1, so selection, notification, acceptance, identification of people on both sides, so chaperoning do sa doping control station, so waiting time para ma-hydrate, maka-collect ng specimen, management of the specimen in terms of the A sample and the B sample, or the blood specimen collection, and processing ng papers, information, and several more. So again, dito dapat nakatuon ang pansin ng ating atleta. Pag napili ang ating atleta sa SEA Games, sa Asian Games, at saka sa Olympics, or any qualifying events, international events na merong doping control test, kailangan merong disclosure, honest, truthful, merong siyang information na dala-dala doon sa mga substances, supplements, and things na na-take niya over the last 2 weeks. So yung intake ng substances over the last 2 weeks. Yung blood transfusion over 3 months, and then yung pag-transfuse ng fluids, so lahat yan dapat truthful. Ngayon, yung atleta tatanungin kung kasama yung coach, tatanungin ng atleta kung payag siya yung kanyang specimen ay gamitin para sa research, anonymous, gagamitin sa research para mag-move forward in terms of the development process sa ating journey sa anti-doping. So tatanungin naman ng atleta kung oo o hindi. Kung oo, that's very good for the setting of the anti-doping environment. So again, process. So if you look at the doping control test, merong athlete's rights. So may karapatan ng atleta to have a representative or interpreter to obtain additional information about the process. Pwede ka magtanong to ensure no irregularities with the procedures, kung worn out na yung kit, kung basag yung kit, kung nabuksan na, and to comment on the sample collection process. Gusto ng WADA, nagbibigay tayo ng comment doon sa sample collection. Kasi na-calculate yan para ma-strengthen ang ating process. Ngayon, anong responsibility ng ating atleta? Kasama si coach, kasama yung kanyang athletic manager and several more. Report immediately to the doping control station, comply with the sample collection, produce valid identification. A lot of times kung international events to, si coach dapat handa parati yung kanyang passport, yung passport ng kanyang mga atleta, or yung identifiable ID na merong number code relative to doon sa setting ng sports. So responsible consumption of food, beverage doon sa setting ng doping control station. So dapat parating nasa paningin ng chaperone, mag-declare ng medication supplements, provide ng TUE kung nakapag-apply, and verify lahat ng information doon sa kanyang form. So in the end, mag-uuwi siya ng form para meron siyang evidence. Merong form na papasok sa laboratory na walang information about the athlete. Merong form na i-retain ang NADO or yung federation. So again, merong confidentiality in terms of the laboratory. Hindi alam ng laboratory kung sino yung atleta, kung anong bansa. So meron lang information relative to yung color, rather the number coded and the color coded bottles. So ngayon, na bago na rin ang forms para above board, medyo highly technical. So lahat dapat ito na nakokompleto, walang iniiwan na space. Doping control forms. So doping control officers report form. So yung athletes biological passport. So yung chain of custody from the site, transport via courier to the laboratory, yung results to the federation, to WADA, to PNADO, and doon sa atleta. So yan ang proseso. So lahat ng ito, merong required forms. However, be that as it may, tandaan natin, ang ating atleta, kasi merong strict liability principle, only you, atleta, ay responsible for what goes into your system. So pag nagkaroon ng positive results, merong right ang atleta na ma-notify siya doon sa adverse analytical finding, adverse atypical finding. So pwede siyang mag-request ng B-sample analysis, pwede pa siyang mag-attend ng opening of the B-sample, pwede rin siyang mag-appeal ng decision kung meron ng final decision. So again, then again, itong request a B-sample analysis at saka you attend the opening of the B-sample, na ilalagay ang burden ng B-sample analysis at saka yung attendance to the B-sample opening doon sa atleta at saka doon sa kanyang team. So take note of that. Yung ating major event organizing committee ang responsible for the A analysis. Meron tayong set aside na funds for the B-sample, but then again, in a lot of events, ang B-sample ang burden ay nandoon sa atleta. It's a process, merong procedure, kailangan alamin natin kung bakit nag-positive. So malalaman natin based on the process flow. So napakaganda ng process flow. Kapag merong adverse analytical finding, AAF, or ATP, atypical finding doon sa kanyang specimen, whether it's urine or blood. Ngayon, pwede kang ma-test both ways. Pwede kang makuhanan ng urine, pwede kang makuhanan ng blood. Kapag nagpa-participate ka sa isang event, kahit hindi ka lumaro, pwede ka ba mapili? Pwede ka mapili several times. So walang limit doon sa opportunities or chances na ma-pick ka, ma-target ka para sa testing. Then again, because may results, merong results management, may positive results, there has to be a first instance investigation panel. So, independent hearing panel. Medyo ito ngayon, dekahon, stricto, dapat merong operational independence from the NADO. So, hindi dapat sa cloud ng NADO ito, hindi sa cloud ng sino man, independent para makapagkaroon ng fair at saka impartial results or analysis at saka yung final decision. Ano ang possible sanctions? Ma-disqualify siya yung results niya sa event, ma-disqualify subsequent results kung tuloy-tuloy, magkaroon ng ineligibility ilang buwan, ilang taon, and merong consequences for teams kung na-target several members of the team, kung team event to, kung isa lang ang na-target, nataon nag-positive, yung team will not be at risk. However, kung merong whistleblower at napatunayan na more than 2-3 nag-positive, so maiimbestigahan ang team, magkakaroon ng consequences. Well-defined yan. But because we are after the rights of everyone, pwede naman mag-appeal ang ating atleta. So it's a process, pwede sa federation, pwede sa NADO, pero ang last resort sa Court of Arbitration in Sport, yung ating CAS. So then again, kapag nag-appeal siya, again, dapat separate ang doping control team, separate ang results management team, separate ang therapeutic use exemption team, separate ang first instance investigation panel, separate dapat rin ang appeals panel. So lahat ito dapat merong institutional independence para hindi bias ang result. So again, yan ang testing and investigation standards in terms of yung World Anti-Doping Code. At this time, very strong ang World Anti-Doping Code sa education. The aim of education, gustong i-share ng WADA, is the knowledge not of fact but of value. So kailangan raw mag-invest tayo ng programa where we are able to inculcate the values na i-share natin kanina, integrity, accountability, excellence. So we inform, but we need to have values in terms of behavior modification. And ang sabi ng WADA, preventive action is consistently shown to yield positive benefits. Sino dapat ang educated? Sa unang banda, ang ating atleta. So again, ang ating national caliber athletes, whether high performance, elite development, yung ating amateur athletes, yung ating top caliber internationally recognized athletes, both amateur and professional. So naghalo na ngayon ng amateur at saka professional entities. May kani-kanilang pag-uusap tungkol sa doping. So batang gusto ng WADA, mag-invest tayo dito sa youth. Nabanggit ko nga, K-12 na ang Pilipinas. Ang sabi ng WADA, bakit hindi tayo magpasok sa K-12 curriculum ng values-based education on anti-doping? So bakit ang tinatarget natin dapat ang youth? Maaga ang dapat exposure ng ating kabataan dito sa dangers of doping in sports. So dapat maaga raw tayong magkaroon ng preventive exposures para sa mga tao. So again, we need to inform, we need to continuously communicate, magkaroon dapat ng outreach sa major events, but the bottom line, dapat meron tayong values-based education. Pinasubmit ang PINADO ng kanyang education program. So pinag-aralan ng WADA, ng CIRADO. So may recommendations. Dapat ito ma-share sa lahat ng stakeholders sa Pilipinas. And why is this so important? This is a very important provision sa code. Lahat ng major events, this is mandatory. Ang atleta at saka support personnel, they need to be informed. Again, ang paniwala ng WADA, ang mundo ng anti-doping, education can limit the risk of doping scandals, particularly in the area of inadvertent doping. Then again, we did our part in the last SEA Games. Nagkaroon tayo ng 4 actually, 5. Number 1, doping control. So about 500 urine tests, 100 blood tests. Meron tayong doping, anti-doping education. Meron tayong therapeutic use exemption, results management. Meron tayong panel of investigation na nagkaroon ng final decision i-forward natin sa SEA Games Federation. But doon sa ating outreach, provide relevant and up-to-date information, administer engaging, interactive, fun education. Ang ating outreach ngayon, maraming gadgets, so maraming tools para ma-encourage ang lahat na mag-participate. So nandito ang ating team, myself, Dr. Pineda, si Justin, si Steph, ang ating anti-doping educator, si Alet, kasama dito as doping control officer. So again, tandaan natin, coaches, ayaw natin mapasok sa halanganin ng ating athletes. Ma-limit itong inadvertent doping. Ano ito? Accidental doping. Contaminated. In the Malaysian SEA Games, ahead of the Philippine SEA Games, nagkaroon ng positive results sa weight-reducing pill, sibutramine. They found out yung supplement contaminated yung kanyang manufacturing. Kanya nag-positive yung atleta. Then again, may strict principle of accountability, liability. So nangailangan na pag-usapan, investigahan. Meron na bigyan ng 4 months, meron na bigyan ng 6 months, meron na bigyan ng 8 months. Of course, lower than what it is kung doping talaga. So intentional doping as against inadvertent doping. Ang intentional doping kasi pwedeng for 4 years, pwedeng 2 years. So depende sa pag-uusap, no, sa again, ang ating World Anti-Doping Agency website, maraming tools. Lahat kayo, lahat ng nakikinig ngayon dito sa programa nating Sports Conversations, magbe-benefit dito sa materials available sa WADA. Libre. So libre ito. You can access. So definition, the process, whereabouts, lahat ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, ethical reasons not to dope, merong playthrough quiz. So merong bago, Adele, anti-doping e-learning. So na upgrade siya. Merong coach through. So these are tools available online. Libre. So if you have difficulty accessing, kindly inform us. So matutulungan namin kayo sa access. But then again, free ito. You can download. We're in the process of translating some in Tagalog. Merong pondo binigay ang WADA CIRADO para magkaroon ng unang vernacular, so Tagalog, and later on, we'll adapt the tools in several more languages. Bakit? Kailangan ma-encourage natin yung atleta natin mag-access nitong mga tools na ito. So again, yung online tools natin, i-monitor ang access ng ating mga atleta, ng ating mga coaches. Kailangan ma-monitor yung pinondohan nilang translation into the vernacular so that we determine kung there is sensitivity, specificity in terms of the vernacular language para maintindihan, maunawaan ang ating pinag-uusapan at this hour. So again, coach through, play through, so lahat ito merong mga data sa online. So then again, ang Pilipinas ay may Data Privacy Act, but for this setting, meron tayong international standards on yung personal information processed by the NADOS, the RADOS, and by WADA. So in recognition of the fact that some personal information gathered in the process can impinge on and implicate the privacy rights of the persons. Unless, of course, mag-positive ang results. By the way, pag negative, wala na tayong maririnig. Alam ng atleta, negative ang kanyang results. Why? Yung conscience niya, yung habit niya, yung practice niya. However, pag positive, may pag-uusap, again, results management, decision, investigation, decision, appeal, final decision. So, however, kapag nag-positive ka at ang final decision stays, merong anti-doping rule violation, mapapublish ka para malaman ng lahat, ikaw ay part of the population that were found to have violated. Whether it's inadvertent, whether it's intentional, it means one and the same. Merong publication ng data ang World Anti-Doping Agency. By the way, lahat ng data natin nasa ADAMS, pumapasok sa WADA. WADA ang nagmamanage ng ating data. So in 2016, dito papasok ang PINADO. So, malapit na tayo sa part natin, PINADO, sa dulo ng TOCO. In 2016, WADA shifted focus from rules to program monitoring. In 2016, nagkaroon ng ISO certification. So in 2018, merong international standards for code compliance. So may requirement ang ating WADA, ang ating World Anti-Doping Code, particularly 2021, na dapat ang ating NADO nag-i-implement ng anti-doping programs. Whether it be doping control, yung nasabi ko na kanina, education, and several more. So dapat may programa. The NADO in each country required the support financial from government. And yung ating gobyerno, through the Philippine Sports Commission, nagko-contribute ng ating share doon sa harmonization ng efforts towards anti-doping, yung 50% kanina na gobyerno, 50% na Olympic movement, yung ating contribution, of course, through the through board resolution, recognition ng Philippine Sports Commission na importante ito, we contribute. Initially, $5,000 annually. So, nag-increase sa two-digit, which we cannot get out from kasi kailangan makapag-contribute tayo. Ang return sa atin is the community solidarity at yung training ng ating tao, capacity building. So, National Anti-Doping Code requires support of everyone, including you. The RADO are in place to assist. So, babalikan ko yung RADO mamaya. And the fact is, kailangan tayong mag-comply kasi merong implication ng ating non-compliance. So, magkakaroon tayo ng significant sanction. So, dyan papasok ang PINADO. Implementation of the 2020 World Anti-Doping Code and compliance by the Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization. So, ni-require tayo, before that, founding member tayo ng CRADO, Southeast Asia Regional Anti-Doping Organization in 2006. I was privileged to be a part of the founding members of CRADO during the Asian Games in Qatar. That was the first time we met. Hanggang ngayon, annual ang meeting. So nandyan ang CRADO, 11 member countries. Of course, maraming tulong ang nare-receive ng Timor-Leste. Meron tayong nare-receive na testing grant out of competition testing ng Filipino athletes up until this year. But next year, ang gusto ng WADA, magkaroon ng sariling programa funding ang Philippine Sports Commission for PNADO dun sa kanyang doping control test out of competition. So mandatory, so nire-represent natin ang Pilipinas dito sa board na ito, country member representative at this time. So naka-base sa Singapore, very generous ang Singapore government sa pag-support ng CIRADO office, both on the point of view of human resource at saka yung kanilang miscellaneous, yung kanilang existence. Then again, beneficial ang existence ng CIRADO kasi natutulungan tayo in terms of compliance. Nakatutok sa atin, kailangan gawin ninyo to, kulang kayo nito, nandiyan sila to guide us. Merong training programs both on compliance, education, testing, results management, therapeutic use exemption para sa capacity building. At doon sa 2021 code, ito ang bago. Yung fact that in the World Anti-Doping Code, only the signatory like PNADO for the Philippines can act as the testing authority and results management authority. Yung testing authority, siya ang mag-i-issue ng mission order. Yung results management, siya ang magde-determine kung kailangan ma-penalize, magkaroon ng investigation, magkaroon ng panel, investigation, appeals, until finally ma-realize kung merong anti-doping rule violation or wala. So meron na tayong DTP, third party agreement with RADO. So based on this provision na yung NADO ang nakapirma. So this was made so that yung CIRADO can participate in the process, but then again, accountable pa rin yung ating NADO. So nag-umpisa ang ating anti-doping efforts through a small unit sa Philippine Center for Sports Medicine nung una, PCSM, ngayon MSAS, Medical and Scientific Services, Medical and Scientific Athlete Services, tayong 2021 PNADO anti-doping rules. So ang ating vision, play true, play clean, play fair, no to dope environment in the Philippines. Mission natin, ensure true and fair athletic performance by Filipinos through code-compliant anti-doping activities. On the sides, hindi lang ito Pinoy, kundi lahat ng international athletes na nagko-compete sa Pilipinas, nag-outsource sa PNADO, ina-handle natin sila the same way we handle Filipino athletes. So again, yung ating vision mission under the office of the chairman para magkaroon ng operational independence. So direct again recognition ng PSC through the chairman's office, yung ating team, doping control unit, administrative unit, at yung ating TUE committee independent of PNADO, yung ating results management committee independent of PNADO, yung ating disciplinary panel independent of PNADO. Then we have the PNADO, so doing work in the area of TDP, RTP, missions, anti-doping education, whereabouts, processing, research, compliance, in short. So again, in the middle of, kung ang WADA ay nasa center of the globe, world center of the world, ang Pilipinas, nandito ang PNADO, doing work with everyone. So kailangan beginning this year mag-engage ang PNADO with everyone, mag-harmonize between government and the Olympic movement, between national and local government units, between private and public institutions and agencies. In short, magkaroon ng isang magandang environment for compliance with the code. So kailangan tayong mag-comply with. Ang basis will be the fundamental spirit of sport values, yung Olympism natin, ethics, fair play, honesty, health, excellence in performance, character, education, fun, joy, teamwork, dedication, commitment, respect for rules, respect for self, respect for others, courage, community, solidarity. So dyan tayo nabubuhay, Olympism. Then again, dahil minomonitor ang performance ng bawat stakeholders, including PNADO, the ways that WADA supports signatories in achieving, maintaining, and regaining code compliance, so may graded, predictable, and proportionate sanctions in case of ultimate non-compliance. So, one single centralized process. Kailangan mag-comply tayo. So, again, merong standards ito. So, kailangan natin ma-fulfill yung minimum standards. Kailangan transparent tayo. Pag nabigyan tayo ng report, kailangan mag-action tayo. So, meron official, high priority, other consequences. So again, high priority, otherwise, so importante ma-implement natin, ma-correct natin, maibigay natin yung corrections. Why? Ma-exclude tayo from WADA. Magiging ineligible tayo to host the Olympic, Paralympic Games, World Championships, and other international events. Ma-exclude ang country o sport from participation in major events. Magwi-withdraw ng funding ang Olympic movement at saka Paralympic movement. So may mga pondo na pwedeng gamitin para sa development and baka mag-impose pa ng fine. So kailan imo-monitor? Beginning 2022, meron ng monitoring process. So minamadali tayo para itong 2021, post-2020. Of course, nagkaroon ng pagbagal doon sa 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic, pero nagtutuloy pa rin. 2021, we need to be in star sa anti-doping. Whether you are caliber, internationally recognized, lahat kayo sa doping control station, pare-pareho ang tingin ng doping control team. We have hosted several yung qualifying events doon sa basketball. We hosted several countries. Nandyan yung mga NBA players, humble, meek, mild-mannered sa sports, action. So again, tulong-tulong tayo. And the reason why we engage with you today, kasi stakeholders lahat tayo dito. Again, Olympic, government, public, private, national, local. So lahat tayo stakeholders, non-athletes in fact. But nandyan sa sentro ang ating atleta. Huwag nating kalimutan. So ito ang ating game changers. So time will come when our recognition will be maintained both by WADA, CIRADO, and everyone in this setting. So in ending, ang battle cry natin, play true, play clean, play fair, no doping-free environment. So doping-free environment. So if you want to work with me, you can raise your hands. So join me in this pledge. So napondohan tayo dito sa pledge na ito. Napondohan tayo ng UNESCO sometime in the past. Some of you have participated here. But we want you to commit. Please follow after me, Josh. You can also be a part of this. Raise lahat ng right hand. On cam. Ipakita natin sa buong mundo, we are one in this commitment. So anti-doping pledge and commitment. Follow after me. I have the right to participate in a clean sport. I will embrace the spirit of sport values. Respect everyone involved. My sport and all those involved in my sporting endeavors at all times. Mag-engage with you, with each and every one of you. Lahat ng sinare ko sa inyo ngayon, i-upload natin dito sa website na ito. Of course, meron tayong Facebook, Philippine National Anti-Doping Organization, at may Instagram pa tayo at pinado-official. If you want to have personal queries, do engage with me. Ang aking email, alexpinedamd@gmail.com. alexpinedamd@gmail.com. So alexpinedamd@gmail.com. So I turn over again yung ating floor kay ating napakagandang moderator, Alet Lakindano, our administrative consultant sa PNADO under the Philippine Sports Commission. Thank you very much for this opportunity. The other member is si Justin De La Cruz na on board today. Okay, so
Thank you so much po, Doc.
Nabaliktad yung ating background. I'm sorry for that. No? Nawala lang sa air, nabaliktad.
Okay po. So recapping of about what Doc Pineda discussed about doping in sports. So fighting doping is really important po here in our country and everyone or around the world. So discussion ni Doc about doping control, very important is the process of having it. So sa doping control process po, we should be aware of especially the athletes, the coaches, and everyone should be aware of how it's done, how we apply it, and the importance of anti-doping in the Philippines. So Doc also discussed about the WADA 2021. So the new code has the revisions po. So meron mga prohibited list na stated, and the TUE, therapeutic use exemptions for the athletes, are also discussed. And then the laboratories who are accredited by World Anti-Doping Agencies also are discussed po na dapat aware ang mga athletes sa mga gagawin ng mga or i-apply ng testing for athletes in international sports. So we have also the Anti-Doping Administration Management Systems or the ADAMS na key people of the anti-doping are having the access dun sa ADAMS na database para aware po ang NADOS and the WADA kung yung mga record or informations ng mga athletes regarding sa mga testings and sa whereabouts nila. And also, Doc discussed about the athletes' rights and responsibilities po ng bawat isang athlete, especially the ones who are undergoing the testing po. So, that's it. The summarizing what Doc have discussed is the in sports is really important and be aware po. Whatever for the athletes, whatever goes into your system is your responsibility. So we should play true, play clean, play fair, and know to do. Yes.
All right. Maraming salamat po. To ask, I think we have already at the first question. Go, ma'am.
First
Yes
question.
po. Question po, Doc, from Neil Patrick Abalos, OLSHS. What are those energy drinks and food supplements, kahit yung common lang po, that may be the cause for doping test to be positive? Thank you po.
In fact, any supplement in that order can be contaminated. Ang dapat lang, meron tayong assurance that these are well packed, clean. Ang sabi ko nga sa inyo sa Malaysian SEA Games, dalawa yung 3 nag-positive in a choco supplement. So sibutramine is weight reducing pill. So bakit nandoon? Supplement siya, choco in fact. So when they investigated, kanya light yung penalty, I think 4 months, they found out inadvertent doping, yung unintentional. Yung process kasi yung paggawa ng produkto, dapat may quality control. That's one. So, dapat alam mo kung sino yung nagbibigay sa'yo. So, lahat ng mga paraan para assured kayo na whatever you take in will be clean. So, of course, meron mga apps ang USADA, US Anti-Doping Agency, ASADA, Australian Anti-Doping Agency, UKADA, UK Anti-Doping Agency. Meron silang apps para even yung ating WADA sa website, pwede mo ilagay yung ingredient, sasabihin ng apps na yon kung merong prohibited substance. So, at all times in competition. So may mga apps, but then again, ang gusto talaga ng WADA, we need to look at the principle of liability. Whatever goes into your system, you are responsible. So again, yung tanong na yun is relative kasi dapat alam mo talaga kung ano yung quality ng tinitaken mo, no Alet? Si Alet kasi ang nag-explore ng mga queries sa amin about supplementation. So a lot of times sa kanya nag-end, we process and then I sign kung ano yung recommendation namin in terms of yung supplement na yun.
Yes po, with Sir Justin and Marian po.
Meron ako ipinost dito sa aking slides. If you look at DUST na supplement, tatlo doon, prohibited at all times. So kung yun ang na-take mo na supplement, talagang magpa-positive ka. 3 times in fact, kasi individual yung yung ingredients. Pag lumabas yung isang ingredient, merong pag-uusap doon. Kung dalawa yun or tatlo, the more that there will be extensive deliberations. So aware si Alet dyan and si Justin. Josh.
Second question po, Doc, from Jovi Gallardo for CSAM. For Dr. Pineda, can inter-school tournaments be included for anti-doping?
At this time, looking at the setting of global sports, meron tayong testing sa Olympics, Asian Games, SEA Games, mga qualifying events for the Olympics, internationally sanctioned, yung federations sanctioned events hosted by the Philippines, several more. Ngayon, etong tanong na ito, nandito sa level natin, ang gusto ng WADA, mag-invest tayo dito sa prevention. So we can come up with a series and at the end of, pwede nating i-certify that pumasok siya doon sa series na yon. So we can do an anti-doping education series for different stakeholders, for different levels. Yan ang ating naka-pipeline, nasa pipeline rather. So para pumasok sa education. So again, ang cheapest will be education, whether in medicine or in doping or in some other settings. Prevention is cheaper than a pound of cure. Yan ang ating adage. So I'm sure you will agree with me on that statement. Prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Thank you po.
All right. Thank you. I know Doc, marami po talaga nagtatanong. Our participants are very much interested.
Pwede mag-email, Josh. Pwede
Yes,
mag-email
Doc.
namin.
All right. I think we flashed po a moment earlier po ang contact details ng Finado. We can also find them on their website and their social media accounts. Pag may mga tanong pa po kayo na hindi gusto niyo pong masagot pa ni Doc. And again, as I've said, we are bound by time restrictions. I think we can entertain one more, Miss Alet. I'm gonna forward you the question. Ito po ang tanong.
Sige po.
Go, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Last one po ito.
From JSMJ, Taytay, Michael T. Polvera. Possible po ba na mai-apply yung mga test kahit sa local league lang po o sa international lang po?
Pwede naman sa local. Meron mga local events na nagre-request sa amin. We sit down, we design the program. Importante dito yung preparations kasi may kaakibat na budget. Ang testing kasi medyo prohibitive. If you look at today's engagement, it is somewhere between $200 to $500 per a sample, depending on mga substances na i-incorporate natin doon sa panel of test. So again, medyo prohibitive. Yung kit mismo ay almost $30 na yung isang kit na may A and B sample. And then yung courier, nag-a-adapt pa yan. And then, yun na nga, yung analysis ang pinaka-importante. Medyo mahal. Pero if we want a deterrent, we can put in some. But ang mas maganda, dapat may outreach yung local event. May outreach program where people can mingle, katulad ng pinakita ko kanina. But on the sides, pwede tayo may small number for testing. Pwede yun, pwedeng gawin yan. Para lang mag-create ng environment that this is a doping-free scholastic meeting or sports meeting or gathering.
All right. I think mostly talaga Doc no yun talaga yung siguro that would summarize some of the questions then
Yeah.
from our participants is paano ba nila to ma-apply on their own sectors, on their own local governments, on their own uh, units. And marami pa po tayong sagot diyan si Doc and the rest of the Finado team. And we are bound by time restrictions. Alam po natin
Yeah.
that everyone here has a lot of questions to be answered to. Kaya po as I've been saying earlier, lahat po ng mga questions ay that will not be answered will be included po sa ating data processing. And again, we are announcing na nasa chat box na po. You can already fill out the attendance verification forms and the evaluation forms on our chat box right now. You may access that already. Very important po yan that all our 713 strong participants have
313, wow.
mag-fill out po ng ating mga forms dyan sa ating chat box. You may access that right now. And you can also put yung mga other questions and reactions sa ating pong attendance verification forms. Pwede rin yung pong ilagay doon at we will forward it to Doc and uh, the rest of
We're
our
open to
team.
that.
Yes. And can we take this time? I think we are ready. If we can show the slides, tech team, can you help me on this? You're gonna show us slides dahil as we fill out, abang naki-fill out po ang ating mga participants ng ating attendance verification forms and evaluation forms, we will now take this time to honor and award the certificate of appreciation to our fifth speaker for the batch 2 of the National Sports Summit 2021, and to award the certificate to Dr. Alejandro Pineda Jr. May I call our PSA official, ating PSA National Training Director and the Project Director for the National Sports Summit 2021, Sir Mark Velasco. Sir?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Dr. Pineda. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Dr. Alejandro V. Pineda Jr. for his invaluable contribution as a resource speaker for the anti-doping efforts in the Philippines session of the Sports Conversation. The first phase of the National Sports Summit 2021 given today, March 4, 2021 via Zoom. Signed, William I. Ramirez, Chairman, Philippine Sports Commission. Thank you very much, Doc Pineda.
Welcome. Thank you for this opportunity, Mark.
Pwede ba nating bigyan ng warm round of applause ang ating guest speaker for our session 5, batch 2 of the National Sports Summit. Yan, kahit virtual lang po, nakikita namin kayo. Thank you very much. We appreciate you po, Doc Pineda, for this time that you've given us.